It's good morning, Amanda and Jasmin. Welcome to Yellow Shelf.
Good morning.
Morning.
You're coming from Singapore. Congratulations. I know your podcast show has hit 100 episodes. That's insane as well as amazing. Your podcast show is called the Forties Formula Podcast. Please dive in and tell us all about it.
Well, the
The
40s
Forties
formula
Formula.
was
Oh, sorry.
okay.
You get best, Amanda. Sorry.
Okay. The 40s formula was originally the brainchild of the two of us. We are both in health and wellness. We're both in the nutrition profession. And we sat down for a coffee one day and had the most amazing chat that made us think everybody should be having chats like this. We should share this information with women. We should, bring education and expertise to women across the world. So we thought, we were both on the eve of turning 40 or had just turned 40. And we thought, this is something that this decade is missing. So we thought, this is our niche. Let's create the 40s formula.
And
We
Jasmin, what
wanted
about
to
for you?
reach, yeah, we wanted to reach women who really feel like something isn't right and something feels off and they don't feel like they used to. So it was about having these discussions in place with experts and people who've got lived experience to really share those stories.
And can I just add, so I'm in my 40s, so this podcast is for me, but it's also for everyone who lives with someone who is in their 40s or who, needs to support someone. And what I like about it is when you turn 40, well, for me anyway, there was that time in my life where, I was quite experienced in the corporate world, but there were things in my own life and values that I wanted to deliver. And I feel when I listen to your episodes, you're really informative in that space.
That was the kind of aim we were going for. We wanted to make people realize that there is something you can actually do. And there's this whole sort of vast area of things that people don't really talk about. You get so set in your ways, you have a family, you have a career, and you start becoming an expert in those fields. And then all of a sudden your body shifts, your mind shifts, your identity shifts, and you're like, oh, what am I doing? And how do I manage these issues that are now coming at this time where I felt like everything was, going great for me and I was on the top of my game?
And I think also, when you're in your 20s and even to some extent your 30s, you have this big social group, right? You have all these friends and all these people to kind of share experiences with. And then as we become in our 40s, we get a little bit more siloed. We may be moving up in our career, so we have more demands at work. We may be, experiencing either people like me with little kids at home or more elder kids at home, teenagers, and there might be more demands there. And so I feel like women in their 40s are increasingly isolated a bit. They don't have this group of women necessarily to bounce ideas off of and talk about what they're going through. And what that turns into is this isolation and this feeling that you are the only one going through this. You are the only one struggling with this. And we wanted to remind women across the world that you are not alone and that so much of what is new or unfamiliar or difficult for us is shared by so many other women. And we hope that we've been able to connect our audience to that knowledge.
Yeah, you definitely do that, ladies. Can I ask the friendship, the relationship, how did you guys connect as podcast hosts? Do you want to share, both of you share, like how you came together?
Well,
We
yesterday I
first,
posted, yeah,
oh,
sorry. I was going to say, Jasmine, just that it just happened to come up yesterday that 3 years ago, yesterday, we
Yeah.
co-hosted an Instagram live. And that Instagram live happened right after that coffee that I had referred to earlier, where we
Yeah.
got together and just had a great chat. And I think it was that Instagram live and our ability to kind of play off each other and keep the conversation going for an hour that made us realize, like, I think we got this. I think this is the
Yeah.
vibe that other women will listen to. And I think we were correct.
Yeah.
exactly that. We had this conversation and it just felt so in line and so natural that we've really thought that this is the sort of conversation that women might be missing in this sort of journey that they're going through. And we really wanted to bring that across to our audience.
Yeah. And ladies, there's lots of energy, and I feel lots of love when I listen. Lots of connection. Don't always agree and don't always get on, but really honest conversations that, yeah, are really helping others. And I think that's no wonder you're 100 episodes in. Does somebody want to dive in and tell us, if we're watching anywhere in the world, how do we connect with yourselves? How do we connect with the podcast if we're curious?
We are on all of the major podcast channels. So if you just type in the Forties Formula, you will find us on Apple, Spotify. We've got a big YouTube channel. So we are posting our videos onto YouTube. We've also got an Instagram account at the Forties Formula. And we've got a newsletter. So if anybody really wants to reach out to us, they can sign up to our newsletter, which they can do via our website, thefortiesformula.com.
Sounds good. I'm going to put links in the show notes, ladies, to make it easy
Amazing.
for anyone across the world to connect with you, to start listening. Is there 100 more episodes? What's the plan, ladies?
Oh, we have
hope
some
so.
really exciting plans. Yeah, we have 100 more coming up for sure. We release every single Thursday at 6:30 a.m. Singapore time. We don't miss a week. So we're a year-round podcast. You can tuck us in your pocket 365 days per year. We also have a really exciting UK tour coming up this summer where we're going to be interviewing UK guests live from London. So you're the first to know.
Oh, hot off the press, ladies. That is so good. And can I just quickly ask, there are some amazing podcasts coming out of Singapore, and you have this amazing podcast network. You both live in Singapore, obviously, found yourselves living there. What's that like, the community out there?
Oh, it's great. I feel like we have a great network of expats here as well as locals. And I think the support here for people in general is just amazing. Amanda's experience is slightly different to mine. I'm here as an expat, but Amanda's actually married a Singaporean.
Yeah, wow. So yeah, I like from someone who looks in at the Singapore network, you're also incredibly supportive, and that's just wonderful to see. So ladies, I'm going to keep listening because I'm in my 40s and I'm perfect as an audience. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for
very
having
much.
us.
Cheers.